The lap record, incidentally, still stands to one James Whittam at 1:37.752.
Not for long it doesn't.
I don't think so.
No,
certainly not if Chris Vermeulen gets a hold of it.
They're going considerably quicker everywhere this year in the 600s.
So Vermeulen on pole position for Tenkate Honda. Can he get the start that Neil Hodgson gifted himself in World Series? Oh! And what a start from Stefan Chambon. A double wheelie from the former Super Motard King. And that kind of done his chances any good. And Chris Vermeulen, number 7, is the man who takes that lead. And one of the Kawasaki's came through at blistering speed and into 4th place. Well, actually, one of them had qualified 4th, so I suppose that should be no surprise. But certainly they've been doing a lot of work on that Kawasaki since the disappointment of Valencia.
Yeah, they needed to do, though.
They certainly did.
A lot of corporate egg on the face there, and for any manufacturer it's not good. They've got, supposedly factory bikes, and they won't like not being able to run up front.
And it is Fabien Fauré who squeezes through inside on Honda hairpin into 3rd place behind Stefan Chambon. And in front of number 31, Carl Muggeridge, who'd made a very bright start. Muggers had really got out of the traps on the 2nd row of the grid. Brock Park, Stefan Chambon, McPherson's in there as well, Robert Orm and Christian Kelly. And I still tend to look for Fearless on a green bike, isn't that ridiculous? Simone Sana on the 2nd of the Belgadi Yamahas, just ahead of Perariba there. And Kevin Curtin, terrible start off the 2nd row of the grid, back in 14th place. And Van der Goorberg, look, wow's he found himself back there?
16th, that's not good.
So Jürgen van der Goorberg's going to have to bring all his experience into play now. Having qualified 6th, he's in 16th place. So keep your eye out for bike number 4, the 33-year-old on the Belgada Yamaha. But meantime, at the front, all the action as you would expect here in World Supersports. Defending champion Fabien Fauré is in 3rd place. 4th, Carl Muggeridge streaks past now. Mullen, Fujiwara, Fauré, Muggeridge, Parks and Stefan Chambon.
It's actually nice to see the Kawasaki going a little bit better. It does a championship good to get more manufacturers up front.
And certainly all the manufacturers are well on the pace, aren't they? All 4 of the Japanese manufacturers are absolutely nailed to the pace here. Brock Parks has incidentally won a couple of motocross races at a local meeting. A bit of like all the Aussies, a dirt track specialist in his youth. And number 23, Brock Parks, enjoyed winning a couple of motocross races for fun last weekend before getting back to the serious tarmac stuff around here.
I'm surprised his team actually let him go motocrossing this close to a championship race. I know that all motocrossing had to be out the way before Christmas, because if the easiest thing in the world with motocross is to have a crash, break your collarbone, twist your knee, whatever. And I'm surprised they let him do that.
Well, it appears that they did. So perhaps BKM are a lenient team, shall we say?
Yeah.
They must be a lenient team. They've put up with Christoph Kogan for years, and he's never done anything. Sorry, Christoph, not a great deal exactly. You've had some spectacular spills, as indeed he already has during qualifying this weekend. So too has Carl Muggeridge, but as you said, James, he bounces well.
Muggeridge bounces as good as anybody. Yeah, he's a tough nut.
So Muggeridge involved in a battle with his fellow Aussie Brock Parks, who rode the last 2 seasons, of course, with the NCR Ducati team. Now with the BKM Honda. Number 23, Brock Parks from Hunter Valley. The Dark Dog BKM Honda. Meantime, at the front, Chris Vermeulen is in the lead, and Katsuaki Fujiwara is the man who's hounding him. Fujiwara, first race winner, got the better of Vermeulen on that, I was going to say, antiquated GSXR 600. A lot of people had written it off before the season, but it's such a well-sorted machine, James, that they obviously haven't got a lot of bugbears to iron out with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Early on in the season, they've got a bike. They go into circuits with a bike that they know exactly what gearing, tyres and suspension settings work. They've got all the data, they put the disc in and it comes up on screen, and everybody else hasn't. They're having to start, especially people like Kawasaki. The Honda's a brand new bike as well. They're having to start from scratch, and that's showing.
Fabien Fauré really putting on a showing after the disappointment of the first round. A little Frenchman proving that he's a fighter, and he's not a world champion for nothing. And I can't get used to him because we never saw him on screen in Valencia. I'm still getting used to him in green, frog-like green. So Fabien Fauré comes across Lukey Heights onto the brakes. He finished down in 9th place here for Tenkate Honda, right behind his 8th place teammate Ian McPherson, and Fearless at the moment. Of course, he's Fearless McPherson is not racing the full 10 kart Honda. He's on the sort of satellite team as Muggeridge loses out to Brock Parks. Parks on this BKM Honda sticks it underneath the 10 kart Honda of Carl Muggeridge, and Muggeridge has to slip streaming down the straight and flicks out to the right hand side as they approach Duans. And in fact gets himself underneath Fabien Foray as well. That was some draft. It's carried him through to third place.
10 kart back, isn't it?
It is.
So you can guarantee he's got 5 or 6 Ks and everybody down the straight.
The Mullen then is holding that, just holding that lead over Fujiwara. Parks 4th, Muggeridge 5th, Chambon in 6th place. Fearless making terrific progress, up to 7th place now, the man from Old Kirkpatrick, Glasgow. And Brock Parks, Parks, how did he hold on to that? I thought he was going to end up way outside the hairpin then, but he managed to break it sufficiently to stay on track. And there we're getting a glimpse now of just behind. There is Fearless McPherson, right behind that man, Stefan Chambon. So 7th place now for McPherson. Terrific racing as you would expect here in World Supersports.
It's actually difficult to get used to McPherson not in green, isn't it? Even though we're in yellow last year, you always seem to think of him on a Kawasaki.
It's just because he made such a huge impression in '99 when he first flung himself into the fray. And Jorgen van der Gorberg is making good progress from way back in 16th. Jorgen van der Gorberg, one of the two men who took over. Remember, Belgada Yamaha losing both James Whittam and Paolo Casali at the end of last season. And Jorgen van der Gorberg and Simone Sanna both brought in very different riders, brought in from MotoGP. Well, the 125 GPs in Sanna's case. Muggeridge in 3rd place, 4th Foray, 5th Brock Parks.
6th Chambon, 7th.
And 7th still right there, McPherson. McPherson has made a lot of ground to get up onto the tail of Stefan Chambon. Can he make it any further? 21 lap race, 4 laps complete. And that's way wide goes Brock Parks, and that gave both Stefan Chambon and Ian McPherson the chance to nip through. So Fearless up to 6th place, McPherson up to 6th place, runner-up in this series back in 1999. Squeezed out of the points by engine problems in Valencia, as Chambon, who is beginning to look like he's getting more comfortable on the Alstara Corona Suzuki, breezes past the Kawasaki into 4th place.
Is that Van der Gorberg coming up on these guys?
I think it might be. I think he's coming through at such an astonishing speed. Van der Gorberg, have you noticed how anyone who's had flu this weekend has been absolutely lethal?
That's a good strain of flu.
It must be a cracking strain of flu. A sort of Dutch-Spanish strain of flu. That is Van der Gorberg. Amazing ride by him. This is the battle for the lead. Chris Vermeulen leads Katsuaki Fujiwara, who got the better of him in Valencia. Can Chris Vermeulen turn the tables here?
Well, actually, to be honest, Van der Gorberg did exactly the same in Valencia. He was looking very, very strong, coming right through from a bad start when his brake packed in Valencia. Then when he got it going again, he dropped to sort of 10th and he got right back up again. He does seem to specialise in coming through from bad starts, does Jorgen van der Gorberg. And the Belgada boys are going to be jumping up and down. He's seen him coming strong like this. You know how excited they get. They are excitable chaps. 7th Parks, 8th Curtin, and it's Simone Sanna who's the guy who's showing first ahead of Teugert, Ulm. Van der Gorberg going past us now, 12th place, and behind Robert Ulm. Perariba not getting to grips with the Kawasaki as fast as Foray is way back in 15th place ahead of Karadi. And Shannon Johnson, the 22-year-old former 10 kart Supersports rider. Oh, Brock Parks is out! Brock Parks, going so well on the Dark Dog BKM Honda CBR 600, is out. Oh, that's bad news on his home ground. Great performer here at Phillip Island. Yeah, he seems to be gelling with the Supersport bike a lot better than what he ever did with the Superbike, to be honest. He's riding it really well. He tested well everywhere with the Supersport bike. This is the battle for 3rd place now, devoid of Brock Parks, but it means that Fearless is up to 5th.
So Ian McPherson really getting himself involved in this scrap now.
Chambon seems to be able to hold a tighter line than anybody. Fantastic there, went straight through to third.
Such a little guy. Oh, look at McPherson going past, drafting his way through into third place.
Yes,
Ian McPherson, a 34-year-old Scot, former winner of British Superbikes, of course, with Kawasaki, has got himself through into third place. Beautiful ride.
Nice when your bike's that quick. But he's only a very small chap as well, he's McPherson. I bet he doesn't weigh 10 stone. I mean, he's all muscle and string.
Yeah, but he is
quite a small chap, and that's going to help these smaller bikes.
So McPherson through to third place ahead of Carl Muggeridge, who's an all-get-together bigger, heavier and stronger man. The diminutive Stefan Chambon.
Very, very wide there, very wide.
And that cost him a place.
Yep.
15 laps to go. Settle down, Ian, settle down. So he's back to fourth place. And of course these guys are costing themselves time by scrapping around like this, enjoying themselves.
Yeah, but it's fun.
But it's fun. Loads of fun. As long as you stay on two wheels.
Yeah, for me this is what it's all about. This is what Supersport racing's about.
It's what attracted you to the class of the axe murderers, is it, Jeff?
No, it was the fact I didn't get offered a proper job.
And you haven't had to find one yet. You call this a proper job?
No.
McPherson back under Carl Muggeridge, down at the bottom into MG corner. He's now back into third place. He's got Muggeridge, Chambon and Fabien Foray for company. Two Frenchmen together there, of course. And this is really a stonking race developing here in World Supersports. Jorgi Teuchert beginning to make his presence felt as well, and the number 83 machine of Kevin Curtin. Or is that the number 93 machine of Christian Kalner?
And that's McPherson going on to the straight in third and coming out, struggling to hold on to sixth.
And Van der Gorberg up into 8th place. He's eaten up about 4 places in a single lap. And Jürgen van der Gorberg is really on fire here at Phillip Island. Of course, it's a track that he knows very, very well from his experience in MotoGP. He said he knows this track like the back of his hand. He really loves racing here. He knows his way around it without really thinking about it.
Also, it's a place where a lot of people test because it's Southern Hemisphere. It's a place where a lot of the teams go testing in winter.
So Van der Gorberg suddenly becomes the Dutch cat amongst the pigeons here in the World Supersport. We're going to take a quick break. You won't miss any of the action. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second round of World Superbikes here at Phillip Island, and a huge scrap going on that has been well and truly joined not only by that man, Jorg Teuchert, but also by number 8, Jürgen van der Gorberg.
Number 4, I think.
Number 4, sorry, Jürgen van der Gorberg, the veteran Dutchman on the Belgarda Yamaha, who'll be bringing a big smile to Signor Conzoni's face in the Belgarda Yamaha garage right now. Terrific racing going on here. This is Foray versus Muggeridge versus number 83, Kevin Curtin on the Nikon Yamaha Racing R6, a wild card, of course. Number 9, Ian McPherson. Number 4, Jürgen van der Gorberg, right there with them. And you said that that R6 Yamaha was fast.
Quick.
Look at it.
He's quick.
Ah. And he's taken 3 of them in one move.
Yeah, it's quick.
How classy is that? So Van der Gorberg suddenly is looking like he's lit up for a podium place, and he just loses out again as they come out of Duans. He finds himself wrapped back a place, I think, by Muggeridge, but he's still got Foray behind him. He's got Kevin Curtin behind him.
He actually looks to be enjoying it as well, does Van der Gorberg. The bodyline.
Well, you really enjoyed getting onto one of these bikes, didn't you?
Yeah, they're lovely, lovely bikes. Yeah, good bikes to ride.
Forrest sticks it under Kevin Curtin. Kevin Curtin, 36-year-old from Sydney. Very much a family man, so he's probably enjoying racing back home in the home Australian Championships. Although that in itself must involve a fair bit of travelling.
Yeah, it's a big place.
It is. Carl Muggeridge, Jürgen van der Gorberg, 16th on the first lap after qualifying 6th behind Muggers, is now right there behind him again, but this time it's in the race. Over Lukey Heights, down the other side, Stefan Chambon. Let's not forget how tough that little Frenchman is. Oh, Foray gets underneath Kevin Curtin again. Oh, good to Gorberg, looks right round over his shoulder. What an interesting place to do that. Touch of the Fabien Forays.
McPherson still clinging on to him.
And that really that hideous colour combination, I must have a word with York Toycott about the blue helmet and the red and white, is tucked in there behind these guys as well. And once again, the Yamaha R6 appeared to have the legs of the CBR 600 when it came out of its slipstream.
Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. They'll be well happy with that, with the Belgada boys. But you're talking about Toycott. What sort of sense of style is he going to have? He's German.
Yeah, but his riding style is almost identical to James Whittam's, so he must have some style about him. It was hard to tell you apart, except for the colour scheme.
They're actually a really nice bunch of lads, actually, the German Yamaha team. They're good. We've had a few nights out with them, and they're all right. A bit staid because they're Germans, and they take a bit of talking into letting their hair down, but when they do, they're all right.
Well, certainly Jorgi Toyhart's always been, to me, has been one of the decentest men around on the race circuits. I was just chuffed that he managed to make it to the elevated status of world champion. Thoroughly deserved for such a likeable chap. But he's having a heck of a battle with another lovely little fellow with McPherson at the moment. McPherson there also seeing green and lighting up, because of course that's the ride he used to have that Fabian Foray now has. And Van der Gorberg hasn't been able to get straight back past
he's struggling with Muggers. Oh, he's going to try and outbrake him down into MG now. No, he isn't.
Oh, Fabian Foray tries to get underneath Van der Gorberg and just backs off at the last instant as Kevin Curtin gets back underneath Ian McPherson. Yeah, the place is changing all the time.
He seems to come off second best in every confrontation, does McPherson. I don't know why, because normally he's very tough. Maybe he's not just confident with the front end of the bike to stick it in there.
Fabulous racing here again at Phillip Island as we go past the start and finish, and once again Van der Gorberg lines up Muggeridge and tries to get on the inside, and Fabian Foray gets on the inside of both of them, surprises Van der Gorberg, and this time holds the line. So one thing we do know, when Van der Gorberg gets near the front, at least it's not a case of running away with the game. He's involved right away with the axe-mongerers right here.
Yeah, but that is Supersport racing for you. That's what made it exciting. You'd actually look at your lap board a couple of laps in and see 25 laps to go and think, oh Christ, that's a long race. And then you seem to do like 3 or 4 laps and you're on the last lap, because you were so involved with battling the whole time. You never got sort of chance to look up and think how tired you were getting, you know.
Whoa, and Van der Gorberg got pushed clean over the curb and into the dirt then. And suddenly he's behind Jorg Toycott. And his teammate Simone Sanna is with him right there. He looks over his shoulder and there's Sanna right behind him. Simone Sanna riding bike number 16 from Firenze, 25-year-old. Was he good on a 125 GP bike?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, he's also tested really well on a Supersport bike.
Curtin, look at, sorry Jane, but Curtin just dived underneath both Muggeridge and Foray. And of course another man who knows this circuit so well, and he's got that wildcard Yamaha back past the two of them and then almost runs out of road. Sorry, you were saying?
Good rider is Kevin Curtin. He actually goes really well in Japan at Sugo as well. They're really impressive there one year. I think he's done a full season or two in Japan, like many of the Australians have.
And look at the two gassing it past him. Oh, and the slipstreaming going on here is pretty sensational. This straight, of course, one of the longest in World Superbike and Supersport, 900 metres of it.
And a fast corner leading onto it as well.
And a fast corner coming off it.
Yes.
But downhill, frighteningly downhill. Yeah. How much can you see as you dive into Doones?
Not a lot, actually. It's quite bumpy going in. If you miss your braking marker, you're in trouble. I actually only ever crashed there once, and however fast you feel to be going on the bike, when your ass hits the floor, you feel to be going a whole lot faster.
I can bet you do. And here we are going into the Honda hairpin, and once again Foray really makes Curtin sit up. He sticks that Kawasaki in and then typically looks impudently over his shoulder, having not realised that that's what causes him to crash sometimes. Van der Gorberg's got the better of Toyhart again.
You know, sometimes when I see this, I feel I made the right decision.
Well,
he never seemed this bad when I was involved in it.
Well, this is what it looks like from our end. And incidentally, it's worth pointing out that Chris Vermeulen has got away from Katsuaki Fujiwara, who's got away from the pack, and Vermeulen and Fujiwara seem fairly settled at the front as these guys scrap it out, letting blood for third place and beyond. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth places all nailed together. McPherson in with as good a chance as anybody else of getting onto the rostrum right now.
Sanna's showing fairly well here. This is a good run for him. Even though he's not at the front of this group, he's hanging with him. He's doing the same lap time.
Kevin Curtin leads. Muggeridge flies past him as if he just presses the afterburner at that point.
They might have afterburners on 10-carter bikes, I'm not sure.
They might do. Are they allowed?
Maybe that's why they...
That was... Oh! And Muggeridge nearly unseated himself. Going through. How did he hang on to that and keep his position? Probably because everybody else backed off and their eyeballs out on stalks.
That's 125-mile-an-hour corner as well, that.
And this is a man we haven't seen a great deal of. Christopher Mullen leads. Second place, Fujiwara. Third place, I beg your pardon, I'd forgotten little Stefan Chambon. This battle's actually for fourth. And Muggeridge goes very wide and lets at least 2 guys through. What I was going to say before he had that huge moment, that was Curtin lost 4 places on that straight in one hit.
Well, he's not on one of the factory bikes. He's not on a World Championship bike. He's on a bike that's obviously been developed to do the Australian Championship, and he won't be privy to the knowledge or have the backing that the guys have that he's racing with just now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 men now in a queue here.
That's good, isn't it?
That's pretty good, yeah. And I've got a feeling that the one at the back might be Walter Damon, who's the second of the Van Zon Honda boys, as Foray once again dives underneath and gets himself rather wide. He can get a bit untidy when he gets excited, Fabian, and he dived in a bit deep there and a bit hot at MG corner, kept himself on the bike, but
he's actually made a couple of mistakes this last couple of laps, and I'm just wondering if he's starting to struggle a little bit for whatever reason.
All right, 8 laps to go, plus naught, you can say that again. Perariba's also joined this squad, but Van der Goorberg is now the man at the front of it, as Toyhert takes a look underneath Kevin Curtin, but he hasn't picked up the draft to get inside him as he goes down through Duans.
And Van der Goorberg is a man, actually speaking to him, he does like a clear track. He's a man who doesn't like anybody in his way, anybody to shoot for. He just wants a clear track so he can do his own thing.
Is that why he's always been such a good qualifier?
I believe he is,
he put the MUZ on the pole position,
twice.
Didn't he?
He did it twice. And anybody who can put the Muzz on pole position in the 500 GP is no mug.
Can you remember which circuits he did that at?
He did it once, I believe Barcelona, or maybe Catalonia, and yeah, twice anyway, definitely did it twice.
That's pretty impressive stuff.
It is very impressive.
And he's obviously enjoying, well, as he said, even though he was feeling dog rough on Friday, he was really enjoying the track because, like Corsa, he says that the track's not presented you with any challenges, in the sense that you know where you're supposed to be on it, you're completely at ease with it, and you're comfortable on it.
It's especially important for the Supersport guys this year because actually their practicing's been cut to 45-minute sessions, not hour sessions.
Yeah.
And they're only allowed to use 12 tyres. So in actual fact, having your settings when you get to a circuit and knowing what you're doing is doubly important this year than it ever has been for these boys.
And he's rapidly closing down on Stefan Chambon now, bearing down on the ex-champion. So Stefan Bonbon Chambon is beginning to come under pressure from this freight train of pursuers. Christopher Mullen has got away at the front and looks like he's going to be heading for a well-deserved first win here in World Supersports. And it couldn't go to a nicer kid. Lovely, lovely boy. Both Christoph Kogan and Perariba have been off during the course of the session, as well as Carl Muggeridge, during the course of the weekend, as well as Carl Muggeridge.
Yeah, he looks supreme, does Mullen. He looks comfortable on the bike. He's pulling away every lap, but still makes it look like he isn't trying that hard. I had a feeling this year he might come good, and he's looking particularly good and particularly relaxed as well.
And here comes Van der Goorberg through to second place. He said on Friday, when he said, I'm feeling dog rough, is the way that I would put it. Head feels a bit blocked, difficult to concentrate, but I know this circuit, I like it a lot, and I'm just doing good times automatically. And definitely not riding freely, but if my head clears a bit more, I feel a bit better, I can improve my times and get a better result, and he's certainly proving that right now. And I think that Stefan Chambon must be feeling the effects of his injuries, because he was not convinced he ought to be here. And
he had 3 broken ribs,
now.
Which, for anybody who's ever broken a rib, is very, very painful. You can't do anything. You can't laugh, talk properly, or there's not a lot you can do without it being very painful when you've got broken ribs.
I did mind falling downstairs. Nothing as heroic as riding a motorcycle.
No, make it up.
Is that what you do, Jen? I'll never believe a word you say then from now on.
I told you I'd got these stitches in my leg with the chainsaw accident. It was really a dog bite.
Yeah, this man almost amputated his right leg with a chainsaw last Tuesday, folks. So
I'm not allowed to be out on my own.
Just write in and tell him about how entertaining that an action that is, and whether or not he ought to have grown up a little bit by now.
I had goggles on.
You had goggles on,
if
eh?
that counts.
No, it doesn't. Not when you've got it waving around. Not when you're holding the log with your leg, with your foot on it, on a wobbly bench that you're supposed to be cutting. Enough already. Enough of that. This is the race going on track. World Supersports round 2, Phillip Island, and it's a stonker. Kevin Curtin, York Toyhurt, Ian McPherson gets underneath. Carl Muggeridge tries to squeeze him out. And does. Muggeridge, of course, the original 10 kart Honda racer in 2000 when they were on an absolute shoestring, begging for sponsorship race to race. He won the final race of the year for them at Brands Hatch when York Toyhurt number 8 took his World Championship title. Ian McPherson back then was still on Kawasaki's, and Jürgen van der Goorberg's got away from that group. The second group is being led by Forey, but notice the Perariba, the dogged, extremely hirsute little Spaniard, has clawed his way well into that group and has almost got his teammate in sight.
And really good guys, Reba. Really nice little fella.
Lovely
and a very, very underrated rider.
Yeah, very fine rider. Christian Kellner's also in that group on the second of the German Yamaha R6s. But Vermeulen's already gone past it. Look at that, 5.3 second lead after 16 laps. So Chris Vermeulen definitely headed for his first win. Chambon in third place, 13 seconds behind the leader. That's pretty brave, but now he's just got 1.2 second advantage over Van der Goorberg, and I don't know whether that's going to be enough. 7th McPherson, 8 Muggeridge, 9 Robert Ulm.
Actually, Reba's in front of Forey now. Forey's dropped right back behind Reba.
Forey struggling. Karadi Sana Forey back to unlucky 13th, and Werner Damon's right there with him. So too is Kellner. Christoph Kogan on the second of the BKM Dark Dog Hondas, just outside the points. Thierry van den Bosch finding that life's a bit different in a full-blooded road race. Oh, look at this.
That's a big dice, isn't it?
Absolute scrapping everywhere. And you can't exactly ride defensively when you've got that many people around you. You've just got to attack and go for it. Race the track. We've got 5 laps to go. We're taking a quick break. You won't miss a thing. Welcome back to Phillip Island, and the man who's pressing for a place on the rostrum here, having missed out at Valencia when his thumb-operated rear brake went kaput. This is Jürgen van der Goorberg on the Belgada Yamaha, closing down now on the Alstara Corona Suzuki of the 1999 champion from France, Stéphane Chambon. Behind him, involved in the battle, Kevin Curtin, who won here in the rain, back racing the BKM Honda back in 2001, ahead of Rusty Ferguson and Andrew Pitt in an Australian 1-2-3, and at present he's in 5th place. 5th place for Kevin Curtin. And considering he's not got the fastest bike out there, that's a terrific ride, James.
No, it's a good ride. He knows his way around, and he's a good rider. But as I say,
oh, and McPherson, Fearless has gone. Oh, what have you done? Fearless has gone down. He's furious, isn't he? You can see by the body language that is one very hacked-off little Glaswegian.
Yeah, don't go near him now.
Definitely. Don't go and ask him what happened. Oh, and look at the state of his leathers. They're once pretty leathers. He's looking for a ride back now. Here, give us a lift to get me out of this place. Oh. But we don't know what he's done. McPherson's gone down and out when he was in for his for a decent result to kick-start his 2003 season. Van der Goorberg, well, he's about to kick-start his 2003 season with a possible podium finish, because in the closing stages of this World Supersports race, he's caught Stéphane Chambon in 3rd place.
Yeah, and Chambon's got to be suffering. Got to be.
He's got to be.
It's quite a physical track.
Stéphane Chambon, of course, no kid. He's 30. We forget he's 36 years old because he seems like he looks such a child. Even when you just see him around the place with those 3-inch stacked shoes to bring him up to 5 feet nothing. He said, I've forgotten it. No, he's
very highly of you, Jack.
I think he's absolutely terrific. He never speaks to me because he always pretends not to speak any English, and my French is terrible. 37 years old now, the little fella from Carpentras. He's as old as you, James.
He's older than me.
He's still, and he's one thing that everybody likes about him is he does enjoy his beers, especially his Coronas on a Sunday night.
I did a.
Oh, but he's just lost third place. Look at that, flyweight or not, Van der Gorberg's flown past him.
Yeah, that's good. I actually did a super motard event, an invitation super motard event, and Stefan Chambon did it, and I know he's done it a lot before, but he's unbelievably fast. He's definitely as quick as the guys who's winning the World Super Motard Championships. He could definitely go and win it just about every year. He's fantastic.
Every time he gets back on one, he's
as good as anybody there is. Yeah.
He is. He's quite extraordinary in that.
Yeah.
Those first times we used to see him on 650 Husqvarna standing on the seat and wheeling across the finishing line, and the
trick riding, wheelies, stoppies, burnouts, unbelievable.
Jörg Treuhert dives underneath Carl Mugridge. Mugridge has got a spectacularly wide line through the Honda hairpin, James. He always leaves a lot of space.
Yeah, you'd think he'd have learned by now, wouldn't he? He's been past every single time there.
Look at Treuhert's knees. Have you ever seen anything quite as spectacular? I mean, he is about 6'3". That's the difference between you and him. You're a more modest 5'10" or 11. He is a tall lad.
Yeah, he's lanky, yeah.
Amazing that he can tuck himself in. But look, I think he must be getting taller, actually. I don't think he's stopped growing yet at 31. Look at those knees, aren't they preposterous?
He rides well, and he always comes good towards the end of a race, and he has the stamina to be going just as quick at the end as what he does at the beginning.
Yeah.
If he could get away and make starts and go quick the first few laps, he would have won more races than he has.
Yes.
Yeah, he definitely comes good at it, and he can save a tyre as well, can Treuhert.
Treuhert, who's had 6 race wins in his career, incidentally. Stefan Chambon, 7 race wins, the most of any of the guys out there. Treuhert's had 6 race wins, so too has Fabien Foret. Katsuaki Fujiwara's had 4, but one man who's had no race wins so far, 3 podiums but no race wins, is our current race leader, Chris Vermeulen. Christopher Vermeulen, 20 years old, from Brisbane, Queensland. Looks like he's going to land his first win as we watch the battles going on through the field, and this is Kevin Curtin beginning to really threaten Stefan Chambon. Chambon, having lain in third place for 3/4 of this race, suddenly under fire. He's lost third place to Van der Gorberg, and now Kevin Curtin, number 83 on the Nikon Yamaha R6.
On a private Yamaha, that's good.
That's impressive. He's pressing now. And how sore must this battered little Frenchman be feeling with 2 laps to go as he grits his teeth and hangs on. He'll enjoy his Corona beers tonight, I'm telling you. Stefan Chambon. He's a little fighter, but
yeah,
how much fight is there left in him right now?
Yeah, he does like a fight, but he is very physical circuit, very bumpy circuit, and these bikes, although they're 600cc, they're actually heavier than the super bikes. So it's not like he's muscling a small bike around. They're a heavier bike than super bikes are.
And a round of applause there from the Australian crowd as Kevin Curtin dips underneath. They're probably suffering Stefan Chambon and nabs 4th place. So Kevin Curtin, race winner here in the rain in 2001, moves up to 4th place in the dry, and looks a good bet. Steph, 1 lap plus 0. What can you do about it? And the answer is his little rocket ship GSXR 600 can bounce straight back into 4th place on the final lap.
Yeah, that's the difference between a private bike and a factory bike.
So we know that he's got a horsepower advantage. Can he make it stick against, I was going to say the younger, fitter man, but the age difference is scarcely anything at all, because Kevin Curtin's 36.
They're both pensionable.
Yeah, they're both, along with James Whittam, very ready to draw it.
I want a recount. There's been a mistake with me. I'm only 18.
Well, you can start again. Time to find yourself a ride for next year. Kevin Curtin looking to go around the outside of the Honda hairpin. We've seen him make that work before, but it puts him on the inside going into Siberia, but he's not quite close enough to make it happen here. And that little bit of extra horsepower, aided by the fact that Stefan Chambon weighs about 45 pounds soaking wet, means that the GSXR 600 holds its position. What about this fella? First win, first race, 1998, Eastern Creek, 250 Honda, 600 Yamaha. First win, 1998, Lakeside on a 250 Honda. Favourite circuits include Johor in Malaysia, Eastern Creek in Australia. From 1994 to 1997, runner-up in 5 times in Australian Junior Dirt Track Championships. 1999, 8th in the Australian Superbike Championships. Then he came to the UK. Then he started winning. Chris Vermeulen, still only 20 years old, wins his first World Supersports race and goes level at the top of the table with this man, Mullen Fujiwara, who brings his GSXR 600 home in second place. Their battle could go on all year. And third place, Jürgen van der Goorberg. He's going to become a danger. Chambon hangs on in fourth place ahead of a disappointed Kevin Curtin, who realises that he's just been outgunned on the basis, really, in the end, of sheer horsepower.